Yeah.
The main slice.
Tuesday edition of the main slice here on Skinner.com and on that radio show. No, I don't know if you're familiar with this lady. I almost called her a chick, but I'm going to be respectful. I'm going to call her a lady. I don't know. Her name's Cindy Sheehan. Cindy Sheehan lost her son in the current war with Iraq, the war on terrorism, whatever you want to call it, however you want to spin it. And this lady became, I don't want to say famous, but well-known, let's say, because she was the one who set up like a tent or whatever across from Bush's home in Crawford, Texas, and then she ended up buying some land there and the whole thing. She called it Camp Casey, which was the name of her son. I was checking out Drudge Report yesterday, and I came across this little thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a blog post. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's an article. Son of a bitch, something just stabbed me in the foot. All right, anyway, I don't know what it is, but I wanted to share this with you. I think this is important. I think there are some things that have got to be known. Cindy Sheehan, she says, I've endured a lot of smear and hatred since Casey was killed, and especially since I became the so-called face of the American anti-war movement, especially since I renounced any tie I have remaining with the Democratic Party. I've been further trashed on such, quote, liberal blogs as the Democratic Underground, being called an attention whore and being told good riddance are some of the more milder rebukes. I've come to some heartbreaking conclusions this Memorial Day morning. These are not spur-of-the-moment reflections, but things I've been meditating on for about a year now. The conclusions that I have slowly and very reluctantly come to are very heartbreaking to me. The first conclusion is that I was the darling of the so-called left, as long as I limited my protest to George Bush and the Republican Party. Of course, I was slandered and libeled by the right as a tool of the Democratic Party. This label was to marginalize me and my message. How could a woman have an original thought or be working outside of our two-party system? She writes. However, when I started to hold the Democratic Party to the same standards that I held the Republican, for my cause, left started labeling me with the same slurs that the right used. No one paid attention to me when I said that the issue of peace and people dying for no reason is not a matter of right or left, but right and wrong. I am deemed a radical. I believe that partisan politics should be left to the wayside when hundreds of thousands of people are dying for a war based on lies that is supported by Democrats and Republicans alike. It amazes me that people who are sharp on the issues and can zero in like a laser beam on lies, misrepresentations, and political expediency when it comes to one party refuse to recognize it in their own party. Blind party loyalty is dangerous, whatever side it occurs on. People of the world look on us Americans as jokes because we allow our political leaders so much murderous latitude. And if we don't find alternatives to this corrupt two-party system, our representative republic will die and be replaced with what we are rapidly descending into with nary a check or balance, a fascist corporate wasteland. I'm demonized because I don't see party affiliation or nationality when I look at a person. I see that person's heart. If someone looks, dresses, acts, talks, and votes like a Republican, then why do they deserve support because he or she calls him or herself a Democrat? I've also reached the conclusion that if I'm doing what I'm doing because I'm an attention whore, then I really need to be committed. I've put everything I have into trying to bring peace with justice to a country that wants neither. If an individual wants both, then normally he or she is not willing to do more than walk in a protest march or sit behind his or her computer criticizing others. I've spent every available cent I've got from the money a grateful country gave me when they killed my son, and every penny that I've received speaking or book fees since then. I've sacrificed a 29-year marriage, and I've traveled for extended periods of time away from Casey's brother and sisters, and my health has suffered in my hospital bills from last summer election because I spent all my energy trying to stop this country from slaughtering innocent human beings. I've been called every despicable name that small minds can think of, and have had my life threatened many times. The most devastating conclusion that I reached this morning, however, was that Casey did indeed die for nothing. His precious lifeblood drained out in a country far away from his family who loves him, killed by his own country, which is beholden to, and run by a war machine, controls what we think. I've died to make his sacrifice meaningful. Casey died for a country who cares more about who will be the next American idol than how many people will be killed in the next few months. Democrats and Republicans play politics with human lives. It's so painful to me to know that I bought into this system for so many years, and Casey paid the price for that allegiance. I failed my boy, and that hurts the most. I've also tried to work within a peace movement that often puts personal egos above peace and human life. This group won't work with that group. He won't attend an event if she's going to be there. And why does Cindy Sheehan get all the attention anyway? It's hard to work for peace when the very movement that is named after it has so many divisions. Our brave young men and women in Iraq have been abandoned there indefinitely by their cowardly leaders, who move them around like pawns on a chessboard of destruction, and the people of Iraq have been doomed to death and fates worse than death by people worried more about elections than people. However, in 5, 10, or 15 years, our troops will come limping home in another abject defeat. And 10 or 20 years from then, our children's children will be seeing their loved ones die for no reason, because their grandparents also bought into this corrupt system. George Bush will never be impeached because if the Democrats dig too deeply, they may unearth a few skeletons in their own graves, and the system will perpetuate itself in perpetuity. I'm going to take whatever I have left and go home. I'm going to go home and be a mother to my surviving children and try to regain some of what I've lost. I will try to maintain and nurture some very positive relationships that I've found in the journey that I was forced into when Casey died, and try to repair some of the ones that have fallen apart since I began this single-minded crusade to try and change a paradigm that is now, I am afraid, carved in immovable, unbendable, rigidly mendacious marble. Camp Casey has served its purpose. It's for sale. Anyone want to buy 5 beautiful acres in Crawford, Texas? Quote, 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 blah, blah, blah. This is my resignation letter as the face of the American anti-war movement. This is not my checkers moment. Excuse me. But I will never give up trying to help people in the world who are harmed by the empire of the good old U.S. of A. But I am finished working in or outside of this system. The system forcefully resists being helped and eats up the people who try to help it. I'm getting out before it totally consumes me or any more people that I love and the rest of my resources. Goodbye, America. You are not the country that I love, and I finally realized no matter how much I sacrifice, I can't make you be that country unless you want it. It's up to you now. This was a blog entry, as best I can tell. A blog entry by Cindy Sheehan. She's the lady who, set up camp across from Bush's home in Crawford, Texas. Blah, 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 blah. And I got to tell you, I read that and I have so many mixed emotions. Because part of what she says is true. Part of what she says is very true. And it's good in a sense that it's out there. What concerns me is the motivation of writing such a thing. The motivation, look, it's obvious. I guess we have to be sensitive here. In this case, I can't blast this woman. I can't blast this woman because she lost her son. And she stood up and she tried to make a difference in the world. And you know what she realized? She realized that the people who are out there supposedly working for a difference, when it comes down to it, when all the cards are on the table, they really don't give a damn. It's all about FaceTime. It's all about getting their names or their cause in the press. It's all about the perception of them or their organization or their party or whatever.